Hello, Patriots, and welcome to Mason Cable Network. My name is Jalen Stubbs.
And my name is Alberto Gonzalez. Last week was Mason's annual International Week, a 7-day-long celebration to commemorate the diverse nationalities that are here at Mason. MCN was on site to live stream the dance competition, which saw Mason's own K-pop dance crew, KDC Mythic, win first place. The Filipino Cultural Association won second place, and last year's winners, Urbanology, took third. From parades and dance competitions to sports tournaments and exhibitions, this past week was a beautiful way for everyone at Mason to learn about the different cultures that Mason embodies.
The Native American and Indigenous Alliances is hosting its annual spring powwow. It will take place on April 22nd from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Merton Hall Lawn. There will be local Indigenous leaders and drum crews showing off their rich cultural heritage to Mason students.
Over the past few weeks, we have covered the controversial decision of Mason choosing current Governor Glenn Youngkin as the spring commencement speaker. Through our coverage, we have heard from student protesters and student leaders, but this week our own Julian Lee took to the streets to ask the students their opinion of the sitting governor's appearance.
I'm Julian Lee, and we've got kind of a problem here. Recently, it's been announced that our school's commencement speaker for the class of 2023 is going to be Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin. Now, Glenn Youngkin has a lot of policies that a lot of students feel go against their values and beliefs. There have been protests for and against Glenn Youngkin being our commencement speaker. So we at MCN have taken it to the streets to ask everybody what they feel and what they think.
I mean, even though I'm not in the graduating class that he's commencing, I'm not really a big fan of him. I don't really like him at all.
He's just speeching, it's just a governor giving a speech. He's not gonna force his ideals over a large crowd of people. So I just don't see the huge deal, So I think if we're just mature about it, we just see his speech and then just let it go. I think that's just the best course of action,
The statement that the president gave was very interesting because it made it seem like he valued a social experiment or getting a dialogue in a situation where there will not be dialogue. If Glenn Youngkin is giving a speech, there is no chance for students to tell him what they want to be telling him. So I think presenting it as an opportunity for that is kind of erasing the students' concerns, and it just doesn't really make sense to me.
We know what our interests are, and stuff like raising tuition, or hell, inviting someone on campus who will be basically pushing against other people's rights is just not what I believe the majority of people here want.
A lot of student activist efforts have worked against his commencement speech participation, and I do wish that the administration would listen to the students moving forward, as the graduation itself is not for administration, the governor, or the Virginia government, but rather for the students themselves.
I think we made our voice heard, which is great. We have the opportunity to do that. And when we got a response back, we still gave another voice back as well. So I think we know what we want, and we're not afraid to talk about it.
But I feel like the outcry has shown what the campus thinks, as a whole, right? Obviously, there's some people who are like, I love Glenn Youngkin more than anything, but
right.
That's right, brother.
That's right, brother.
That's right, brother. But I mean, most people dislike him, right? Most even normal apolitical people aren't the biggest fan of him.
We cannot tolerate intolerance at this institution. We cannot platform those that seek to deplatform the marginalized communities that we are so fond and proud of at George Mason. It's a sad thing to say that people's gender orientations and even race are considered political in this time of day.
The APAC Night Market is back. APAC, short for the Asian and Pacific American Coalition, brings together Mason's Asian RSOs for their annual night market. The market will host many Asian food vendors, booths for RSOs, and other Asian organizations. There will also be cultural performances and a secret special headliner. It will be held on April 21st at Mason Pond from 5:30 p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. You do not want to miss it.
Mason Cable News is proud to announce a new segment in partnership with student government. Colin McCauley, Secretary of University Services, will introduce and update you on the initiatives that student government is working on. Passing it off to Colin.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Again, I'm Colin McCauley, the current Chair of University Services for our student government. I'm here with Nashok Shitfeld, our Chair of Academics, to talk about Registration Awareness Week.
Hello everyone. As you know, the end of the semester is coming up and it's time to register for your classes for the fall 2024 semester, or 2023. First, if you are in the Honors College, as you know, priority registration has already started throughout this week. If you are not in the Honors College or any priority registration will be happening next week. Be sure to meet with your advisors and make sure that you are on track to graduate. Be sure to, you can do that by using navigate.gmu.edu. You can pick your advisor right there and schedule an appointment. It's always important to meet with your advisor. You always want to make sure you're on track. You want to find out new classes to take. You can also talk to them about picking up minors. You never know. So yeah, another thing that you can use to help your registration go smoother is the Plan Ahead feature. You can create a whole plan with classes so that whenever your registration time starts, you click on your plan and you're registered. Speaking of that, be sure to check your email for any emails from the Office of the Registrar. There you can get your the timestamp that you are going to be registering for your classes. And yeah.
So 2 more things I'd like to mention are DegreeWorks. DegreeWorks is a great program within Patriot Web. It outlines all of the classes you'll need to graduate, all the prerequisites you need to take your upper level courses, and it's very good to plan ahead exactly what you'd like to do with your education. And finally, I want to mention that when picking your classes, be very careful to make sure that the class is either in person or whether or not it's asynchronous. That's a very common mistake that students make. Another common mistake is picking a class that is on maybe the Arlington campus or the Mason Korea campus, even though you would like to take a class on the Fairfax campus. So just be very careful when selecting a class. Just because it fits the time that you'd like to take the class doesn't mean it is on the Fairfax campus. But other than that, we really appreciate your time and letting us come on to the Mason Cable Network News Show. And back to Jalen and Alberto for the news.
Thank you for the update, Colin. Do you miss the magic of prom? Are you a sucker for the retro theme party? Then you should attend Mason's Old School Retro Prom presented by PAC. This will take place tomorrow at Dewberry Hall from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Be prepared for a night of dancing and fun. Register at Mason 360. Alberto will now give you the weather forecast for the upcoming week.
Hello Patriots. This week starts off with summer-like temperatures, starting today where it was sunny and it reached a high of 87 before cooling down to 59 later tonight. Tomorrow it will be mostly cloudy with a high of 84 and a low of 62. Saturday starts off the weekend with a high of 77 and a 60% chance of rain, but by Saturday night it cools down to 59 and the chance of rain decreases to 30%. On Sunday the high will reach 83 and there's a chance of 40% rain after 2 p.m. and it will continue to rain throughout the night, but temperatures will get to 55. On Monday it will begin to cool down with a high of 67 and a low of 45, and then on Tuesday it will be around 66 with a low of 43. Wednesday will be sunny, thankfully, with a high of 73 and a low of 51. So enjoy the warm weather this week before some cool temperatures do come back.
Thank you for the weather, Alberto. Now for sports. Starting with softball, the revolutionary rivalry between George Mason University and George Washington University took place this week. Mason came out on top, winning the first game 7-1 and the second game 5-3 in a comeback win, with just 13 games remaining in the regular season. The Patriots have already equaled last year's win total and have also become the first team of the A10 to reach 10 conference wins. And for this weekend, you can look forward to a doubleheader against A10 counterpart St. Joseph's that will start at noon on Saturday at George Mason Softball Complex. The final third game on Sunday will also start at noon. Let's hope that Mason can keep up this winning streak for the games this weekend. Now moving on to track and field. 10 Patriots have been named the A10 indoor track and field all-rookie team this year. Those who were picked for the men's side were Micah Jones, Daniel Adu, Cameron Stearns, Robbie Jenkins, Albert Acer, Aiden Walcott, Colton Oceantook. And for the women's side, Alexis Martinez Medina, Megan Baird, and Olume Njakpo were chosen. In response to this, track and field coach Andrew Jared was quoted saying, "We've spoken all year about us having a young team, but to have locked up so many of the all-rookie slots is just a further testament to the tremendous job of so many of our newcomers and what they have done this year." For volleyball this week, in their last game, the Patriots were defeated 3-0 by the Penn State Nittany Lions. Omar Hoyos led the kills in the second set, but sadly, this couldn't bring home the win. The men's volleyball team will travel to Cambridge, Massachusetts tomorrow to face Harvard and try to move on from this performance. And finally, for baseball, a highlight of the game was pitcher Chad Gartland, who tossed a complete game shutout against Dayton on Saturday. This game was a statement performance from him. Sophomore Connor Dykstra hit a 2-run home run and drove 4 runs. Designated hitter Mark Trotta had a pair of hits and knocked in 3 runs. Mason had 11 runs total, but on the final game on Sunday, the Patriots unfortunately lost, showing that inconsistency has been a problem for this team. But they look to bounce back against VCU tomorrow in Richmond.
Mason Day 2023 is coming up on April 28th from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. at lots A and L. Expect carnival rides, games, foods, giveaways, and free t-shirts. Entry is free for all Mason students, staff, and faculty, and each student is allowed to bring one non-Mason guest. For each ticket, the price will be $25 if bought in advance at the Student Involvement Office and $35 on the day of. The headline performer will be announced in a few days as well, so stay on the lookout on PAC's Instagram page at GMU_PAC. Jalen, have you ever been to a previous Mason Day, and are you planning on going to this one?
So, Alberto, I have not been to any Mason Days, and then I'm a senior, so I plan on going this year for sure. I remember my first 2 years, it was pretty much canceled because of the pandemic, and I was working last year, so I'm definitely going to see what it's about this year.
Yeah, that's good, man. I hope to see you there.
Yeah, likewise.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to keep up, you can do so on and off campus if you follow us on Instagram at MCN on TV, on Twitter and Facebook at Mason Cable Network, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Alberto Gonzalez.
And I'm Jalen Stubbs. Have a great rest of your week, Patriots.